subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to get all the latest updates.
Hi everyone, my name is Anita and I welcome you all on Inkpothub Media. Today I'm going to be speaking with Mr. Sudharsan, who has just joined the PhD program at Mahindra University School of Management, and I'm so excited to speak with him. His experience is very vast. He traveled all across the world and he was a banker. He's an entrepreneur and now he is a researcher as well. So this particular interaction is going to talk about why he chose research as a career now and in this stage of his life, and why he chose Mahindra University School of Management for his PhD. And there are many questions which I have to Mani. Let me welcome Mani. Hi, Mani. Welcome to Inkpothub Media.
Hi, Anita. Thanks for the opportunity.
I'm equally excited, Mani, and because I was reading your CV, your background, your profile. It was so interesting to see that you traveled all across the world, and HSB made you do that. So tell me about your journey so far, so that we can understand why you chose research.
After my bachelor's and master's in India, I went abroad to do another master's in University of Reading in the UK. And then what I did was I got a fantastic opportunity in the Middle East for a small bank, okay, relatively small bank, to set up their risk management department. Okay, they had a credit department and that's about it, which reviewed lending proposals and that's it. So I had to set up their market risk framework, their op risk framework, their investment portfolio. It was 2.5 years of learning, but you learned everything by doing, okay? Because I didn't have someone in the bank who was a mentor who could guide me because recruit. So, so it was crazy, but in hindsight, I think it was a great learning experience for me. Yeah, that was the time when I did my levels of CFA, FRM, and all of that. So, professionally, absolutely brilliant. Personally, even more brilliant because I don't know how many are familiar with Middle East, but tax-free money, not married, 40 days of holidays in a year, travel around the world, right? So, best combination, that amazing experience. But what I missed was, and what I knew that I needed to gain was develop market experience. So, experience of the London market, the New York market. So, when someone thinks about financial markets, what are the three that comes to the top of their mind, right? It's New York, it's London, it's Hong Kong, right? Those are kind of the big markets that people think about. So for me, it was only natural that I gravitate towards London because I studied in the UK. So went back, okay, then did consulting for almost a year and a half with Sundar, where I was consultant for 45 out of the 50 largest banks in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. That was also the best time of my life because I found my life partner, Rashmi. So I got married and all of that. So great kind of in this one. And then banks, HSBC happened. In fact, my first reason for joining HSBC, I remember the guy who interviewed me, who later on went on to become the group CEO of HSBC, Mr. John Flint. Okay. He asked me why HSBC. I said, you guys have a big presence in India, and eventually I'd like to come back to India. This was in 2006-07. Yeah. Eventually I'd like to come back to India, and that's why HSBC. And I stuck on for a long time. Okay. So that's been my journey of, or rather, my corporate journey as such.
After HSBC, you became an entrepreneur. So tell me more about your entrepreneurial journey. So how it all started?
Yeah. So my entrepreneurial journey actually didn't start when I left HSBC. I was already running an entrepreneurial kind of enterprise within HSBC in 2016. Okay. As I said, generally, I'm the kind of guy HSBC kind of sends when they have a problem or when they want to set something up new. Okay. When they wanted to ramp up the markets business in Middle East, I was their first risk manager. Okay. So I kind of helped you know, expand the market's footprint in the Middle East. Similarly, for a lot of, for example, one of the acquisitions and disposal in Middle East, I played a key role in that as well. So then 2014, 2015, I was kind of getting itchy that I should come back to India. Wife and kids were also kind of, indicating that they're more amenable to come back to India. So that's when I kind of reached out to my bosses in London and said, hey guys, I've been in the Middle East for 5, 6 years now. What's the next for me? And preferably if there's something in India. And that's when the head of markets at that time kind of reached out to me and said, do you want to set up a completely new front office trading, and sales unit offshore in India?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. SLBC has never done that. We have
Mm-hmm.
tons of people in the global capability centers,
Mm-hmm.
but those are all back office, middle office jobs. For the
Okay.
first time, SLBC is saying a front office role gets moved to, Bangalore. So
Mm.
said, interesting, put my hand up, joined. I think I left I finished my Middle East job on the, I think, 28th of July or something, and then 1st of August is when I joined the Bangalore office in 2016, and then over the next 2.5 years was mad scrambling. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because nothing was there, right? So had to set up a trading floor, right from infrastructure, the piping, the network, which is all very unique to a trading floor compared to a normal operations floor, right?
Mm.
So the technical specs are very different. Then the hiring is very different. You go and hire the best of the best from the IITs and the IIMs. Okay,
Mm.
so the whole thing is different, right? The whole DNA of that unit has to be
Mm.
different from, for want of a better word, the regular operational unit, right? The regular operational unit is all about scale, reduce cost, vagera
Mm.
vagera. Whereas in this, it's a small unit of 350, 400 people, very, very specialized. You pay them top dollars because these guys are developing algos for you. You're going to make 100, $200 million of revenue from them.
Mm.
Yeah. So if you want to get that kind of revenue, you need to pay up the big bucks, right? So, I had to develop a lot of things from scratch. So that was a very, very entrepreneurial kind of experience that I had,
Mm.
thanks to HSBC. So for me, that kind of triggered things.
Mm.
Okay. And then, as I said, my dad fell sick, so somebody needed to do it. So it was all these circumstances kind of led me to jump into to be an entrepreneur. Okay. But I wasn't like, oh, this is it for me. This is my calling and nothing like that. Okay. And then since then, it's been amazing. So I think I've, I've managed to scale up my traditional family OOH business 3x in a matter of 4 years, in spite of
Okay.
COVID, in spite of
Mm.
COVID, right?
Mm.
Managed to create a pretty successful bootstrap artificial intelligence computer vision startup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Great. So moving to the next question, which is very close to my heart, because once you are an entrepreneur, you're always an entrepreneur. So taking another risk in your life, you jumped into another risk career choice in your, life journey. That is,
Yes.
you became a researcher now. So what
Yes.
moved you? What was that incident? What was that reason which compelled you to take up research as a natural progression?
See, okay. Trust me, Anita, for me, it was gradual. Okay. As I fell headlong into entrepreneurship, went into this, one of the things I felt was that some of my skills
Mm-hmm.
are outdated. Okay. The last time I went to college was 2001, 2002, right? So I needed some refresh. So what I did, and I don't know if you've seen my thing, that I went and did a pretty long program called Advanced Management Program under Wharton. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an eye opener. That exposed me to so many different things, right? That kind of rekindled my thirst and hunger for knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for me that was a eye opener, and that led to a revisioning or rethinking of what I would like to do, say 5, 10 years from now. Okay, so for me, entrepreneurship is a journey, right? Yeah, the way I'm looking at it is over the next 5, 7, 10 years. I have few goals in terms of what I would like to achieve for my entrepreneurship side. But apart from that, I want to stay relevant. And for me, I felt that being a researcher is going to is will help me in the journey of being relevant even 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm. So you
Okay,
made a very interesting point. Like to remain relevant, you need to do constant research, and then
exactly.
more structured research is going to help you to stay relevant. Okay, very interesting
Exactly.
point you made. So my next question to you, Mani, is around the choice of institute, because you joined Mahindra University School of Management. I know because of the leadership, because of the faculties overall in the institute. Um, they are doing a remarkable job. This is the first batch, and you are going to be the representative of that first batch. What compelled you to join this institute?
I have a very close friend who's a prof there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah. So he was my college mate, and we've been in touch. And when he took me through some of the things that they're thinking about. In fact, before this course was even launched, right? I kind of reached out to him and said, "Dude, I would like to do, but I can't devote full time because I've got a business to run. I've got multiple interests, so I can't run it full time. So I cannot join a course full time.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of anything which is this one?" And he was like, "Dude, uh, contact me 3 months later. We might be thinking about something." So that was kind of the
Okay.
thing. Okay,
Okay.
and I kind of researched, Mahindra University, the commitment that Anand Mahindra has given to the university. I think it's fabulous in terms of what they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do, right? I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of India has always been good at producing fantastic engineers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? We also produce a lot of engineers who are not fantastic, but we also have the creme de la creme of engineering, right? With the IITs and IISCs and all of that, right? I think one thing that has been lacking in India for some time has been these, arts and you know uh, economics and things like that, where we haven't had much of you know the world famous universities around the world which are famous for these kind of liberal arts kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I think now with Wipro, with Mahindra, with Shivnada University and things like that, I think a lot of things are moving. And for me, Mahindra represented it made the ideal fit in terms of
Mm-hmm.
you know looking out for something which is part time, still rigorous, because I don't want to get a PhD for the sake of PhD. I think we've all,
Absolutely.
at least I've crossed the age and levels where any PhD matters, right? For me, it's not going to help me in my job, my career, nothing. It's just, for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's a learning. So it needs to make sense that this is rigorous enough, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was one of the criteria. And what I liked about Mahindra University was they follow a US style of PhD,
Absolutely.
which I think is the right way to go. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's my personal opinion. Somebody's can be different, but I feel you know PhD should have that level of rigor.
Okay. 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 So when you decided to take up a PhD at Mahindra University, I want to know what was your peers' reaction or your family's reaction. How did they take this decision? Because this is a very big decision that you have taken at this stage in your life.
True, true. My wife's reaction was extremely supportive. She was like, "Go for it. If that's what makes you happy, go for it." My
Hmm.
kids, I've got two kids. One planning to become a behavioral economist, okay, and one
Hmm.
trying to be a technologist. So we'll see. two kids aged 16 and 12, and their
Mm-hmm.
reaction was also, you're going to be, now you're already traveling, 4 or 5 days in a week. Now you're going to be even more away from us, kind of a thing. I was like, I'll try to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to juggle, but I'll try to ensure that this one. But they were also extremely supportive. They were like, "Yeah, go for it. I can call my dad a doctor."
Okay, okay, okay,
So,
okay.
so that was the reaction. My peers,
Uh-huh.
they were like, "What are you thinking?"
Huh.
Yeah.
I can
So
understand. Yes, I can
yeah, exactly.
totally understand.
Yeah,
So tell me about the
yeah,
admission experience because you got to know about Mahindra University from a friend of yours, and then you
yeah.
wanted to join it because of many reasons. So I want to know what kind of process you experienced while admission in the university.
Oh, very seamless, very seamless. See, generally university admissions are about filling tons and tons of forms and things like that, right? I think they understand that these are senior group of guys. They are not, you know, your run of the mill 18-year-old students, right? So I think the way they had put together this whole thing was well thought through, very
Hmm.
professional, and very
Hmm.
seamless.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
even the forms were very intuitive and easy to fill. You could take your LinkedIn profile copy and things like that. So I think overall I was very very impressed with the way
Okay.
they've done it. But what I
Okay.
also like is, while the ease of the process is there, it didn't feel at all that it's diluting the admission process, right? So see, there's always a trade-off between the
So I
ease
understand.
and
So more, I wanted to
yeah.
know, Mani, about the interview process mainly. So how was the interview? What all those things which you prepared? What was the resource? And can you remember? Do you remember a few things from the interview, like a tricky questions? Those tricky questions,
Yes,
which you navigated.
yes,
Tell me more about those experiences.
exactly. See, in terms of the interview, I think I had four people in my panel of interviewers. See, I don't think they nobody goes at this level. Nobody goes into the technicals of, do you know this subject well or that subject well, right? That's not the
Mm,
point. So their main focus was, what's your kind of motivation to do the PhD? Because that's
absolutely.
the most important thing, right? Yeah.
Mm,
Do you have the right motivations, or
mm,
are you
mm,
just doing it
mm.
for the heck of doing it, right? So
Right,
for
right.
me, what I needed to, I think what I hope so. I don't know. I need to ask Professor Rama why he chose me. Okay, but I think my main kind of selling point to them was that, see, I've already done an AMP. I've gone back to
Mm,
school. I loved it. So hence I'm
mm.
coming back to you guys. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. I
Huh.
enjoy this process. So for
Uh,
me, that was the primary driver to say, okay. And
uh,
I also can say that, do I have the perseverance and the persistence to complete a PhD, right? PhD is a
mm-hmm.
marathon. It's not a sprint. So the
Absolutely.
important thing is, do you have the patience, the perseverance? Because at the end of the day, I think
Mm,
IQ matters, but more than IQ, EQ matters to complete a PhD.
mm. Okay, got it.
So,
So it
so
means
for me,
that
that was
your
the key.
interview,
Yeah.
yeah. So your interview was around, say, what was your motivation to, go into the PhD program? So, so how is your course going? So my next question to you is like all about your course because you've already started.
Ah,
So tell me about your
yes.
course and how is it like going back to classroom, going back to the classroom? How does it feel? How are you taking
See,
it? Like,
see, classroom feel amazing. Okay. Yeah. And I've got a fantastic set of peer groups in terms of
huh,
my cohort. Okay. Diverse backgrounds. Okay. One is IT, you know, global head of, I think, blockchain technologies and all of that from Mahindra. One is head of infrastructure. He's he's a civil engineer who builds buildings for Mahindra globally, right? So completely different background. Then another lady, she comes from ISB, a head of learning. The other lady comes from Signity. She's just sold her startup to a large firm, and she's into machine learning and big data. So very diverse background. So for me,
Interesting.
the way I'm looking at it is, it's been exhilarating. It's definitely been challenging in terms of the academic rigor. Okay.
Mm,
The
mm,
amount of stuff we have covered in just what we do, three residencies. We've done so far three residencies. Okay. September, October, November. And each
mm,
residency is 3 days.
mm,
Okay. So it's 3 days of classes. Okay. And I can tell you for each residency, roughly I take out anywhere between 20 to 25 hours of learning and work
mm,
needed to be prepared for
mm,
that residency.
mhm,
So
mhm,
it's pretty intensive, right? So
mm,
even if I were to devote, say, 2 hours a day, I'm looking at, close to, 10 days of work before
mm.
I can be prepared for the next residency. So,
Okay,
and it
okay.
happens every
Right.
month, every fourth week is there, right?
Mm, mm, mm.
So
I
it's
can,
been
I
intense.
can
It's been intense.
I can see that under the leadership of Professor Rama and Professor Banik, we have interviewed both of their, experiences so far, their life journeys and their research stories. So, for the sake of our audience, I'll just, tag along those interviews here as well. Professor Banik and Professor Pradeep,
Yes.
Professor Manish, Professor
Yeah.
Rama. So, a lot of people we have already interacted. I'll just, put tag over somewhere on the
Yes.
screen here. Very interesting to see all these profiles which you are working with. So tell me, one my last question to you. What do you think? Like, when should a person consider research in career in life?
See, there is no time in terms of your life. I think
Hmm.
it all depends on the age. What is your age? Is it
Hmm.
something that you like to, you like an idea, or you like a
Hmm.
concept, or you observe something and say, hey, has someone done enough thinking around that idea?
Hmm.
If that, so the way I look at it is two things, right? One is you can be a research, two ways to become a researcher. One way is
Hmm.
you have an idea and you want to research,
Hmm.
right? Or you have a research mindset and you're searching for an idea.
Hmm.
Either ways are okay.
Hmm.
Okay, either ways are okay to become a researcher. So
Hmm.
the important thing is, do you have that, or you are someone who is happy to see? There are certain guys who are
Hmm.
always, I've seen it myself, being a trader, being a risk guy. I look at numbers all the time, but there are also guys who are, for want of a better word, gut feel guys. They're fantastic in what they do, but
Hmm.
they are guys who deal with uncertainty, and they're taking quick calls and moving on, right? So those kind of guys generally are going to struggle when it comes to putting detailed researching, right? There'll be
Hmm.
the other set of guys who are like guys who are going to be like, I need to know everything before I take a decision, which is also not a, you know, then you're going to take inordinately long time. So the way
Hmm.
I see it is, uh, when you start to, and different periods in your life and career, you'll have different kind of approaches to solving an issue, right? You're not going to be
Absolutely.
standard across. Okay. So the way I see it is that when you get to a stage where you come across an interesting phenomena or an interesting idea, and there is enough motivation for you to research that a bit more, that's one time to probably join research and
Hmm.
think about research. The
Hmm.
other time that I would say is, if constantly you're getting this itch to say, okay, I like that phenomena, I want to research, I like this, and you're constantly looking at, ways of coming up with, things to analyze. When you have that analytical mindset, when you have that analytical thought process of looking at things, and you like to go deep into certain things, then is also a time when you can
Hmm.
probably think about taking the next logical step of becoming a researcher.
So thank you so much, Mani. I'm so happy that we interacted, and this is a very good interaction which we have had, and I'm sure this is going to help a lot of other
Thank
people in
you.
the coming times to decide research as a career choice. I'm so happy that we did it. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Great to see you all here. Thank you for watching our work. If you have not subscribed to Inkpothub Media, then please hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel and support research celebrations in India.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.